5 true history stories they didn't want you to know. According to an old proverb, people ignorant of the past will live through it again, or something along those lines. It's essential to have an excellent understanding of history. I don't mean memorizing significant names and dates, but also minute specifics that shed light on important historical figures or times in which they lived. It could be an unexpected piece of information that causes you to question the accepted knowledge. Today at Discovery Unraveled, we bring 5 true history stories they never wanted you to know. 1. The government poisoned alcohol during Prohibition. The man scared of Santa Claus came into the emergency room at Bellevue Hospital in New York City on Christmas Eve 1926 with the streets sparkling with snow and lights. He kept telling the nurses that Santa Claus was close behind him and brandishing a baseball bat while he was flushing and panting in terror. The man passed away before hospital officials noticed how ill he was. The delusion brought on by the booze was only a symptom. Another Christmas partygoer did the same, one more. The hospital personnel counted more than 60 persons who'd become critically ill due to drinking, and 8 died as Christmas evening drew to a close. Another 23 individuals were killed in the city from alcohol-related causes during the following 2 days. By then, doctors were used to treating alcohol poisoning cases as part of daily life throughout the Prohibition era. The illicit gins and whiskeys frequently made individuals feel ill. Metals and other contaminants were regularly found in the alcohol produced in secret stills. But this outbreak was strangely unique. Investigators soon realized that the deaths were made possible by the U.S. government. Federal officials had decided to attempt a fresh approach to enforcement after becoming frustrated that individuals continued to drink so much alcohol even after it had been outlawed. They gave the order to poison American-made industrial alcohols frequently stolen by bootleggers and resold as alcoholic beverages. The goal was to intimidate them into quitting illegal drinking. Instead, by the time Prohibition ended in 1933, some estimates placed the death toll from the federal poisoning scheme at least 10,000. The Chemists' War of Prohibition is still one of the oddest and deadliest actions in American law enforcement history, despite being largely forgotten today. 2. Paul Revere never actually shouted, "The British are coming." In contrast to what's commonly believed, Paul Revere did not ride northward while shouting, "The British are coming." Instead, he proceeded northward stealthily and hastily. His travels ended in Lexington, Massachusetts, when he was introduced to 2 other Sons of Liberty, John Hancock and Samuel Adams. After reuniting with William Dawes and Samuel Prescott, the 3 men split out to enhance their chances of evading the British officers stationed along the road. Although the British would take Revere prisoner, his comrades would have tremendous success on their missions. When the British approached, Paul Revere never yelled, "The Brits are coming." You've already been told this tale 1,000 times. On Paul Revere's historic ride, the Patriot warned the colonial militia by yelling, "The British are coming," at the top of his lungs to alert them to the impending threat posed by the British. But historians agree that shouting at such a volume would have been risky and unwise. Because many British soldiers were hiding in the countryside of Massachusetts, the operation was designed to be carried out with as little secrecy as possible. In addition, colonial Americans around that time still regarded themselves as British. If anything, Revere may have informed other rebels that the regulars, a phrase used to describe British soldiers, were on the move. 3. Pope Gregory IX declared war on cats. Pope Gregory IX presided over the Catholic world between 1227 and 1241. Since it was the 13th century, individuals at the time held some beliefs that would now be regarded as irrational. Gregory the Great believed cats were unreliable because they carried Satan's spirit. The idea that black cats are unlucky developed from this. In truth, individuals who supported the Church and the Pope massacred cats in large numbers between the years 1233 and 1234. According to some historians, the death of so many cats contributed to the spread of the plague, which led people to believe that Satan had instigated the epidemic out of rage at the loss of so many of his cats. As we consider the past, we can see how the cats were murdered so much that the rats thrived, but they were unaware that fleas spread the plague on rats. But what the Pope had started took a long time to disappear completely. His campaign against cats had a profound impact on both humans and animals. Are you shocked after knowing this information so far? We searched the past for history, guys. No, but who preys on cats? That's ridiculous. The record sure was full of surprises. Watch the video until the end to discover more such topics that you didn't ever think of, and remember to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, Discovery Unraveled, for more such updates like these. The Pope's declaration of war against cats has repercussions beyond the small felines. Cats were not the only victims of the Pope's cat war. People were also significantly impacted by it. There was a widespread witch hunt after the battle. Several persons, mostly women, were hounded and accused by their neighbors and acquaintances. There had been a job opening, witch hunter. Religious people persecuted and accused women of witchcraft to demonstrate their allegiance to the church. Unlucky women who were caught up in this hunt were tortured and slaughtered. Yet cats were still not secure. This time the witch hunting craze was causing people to slaughter animals. Cats were killed in the late 1400s because people thought they were witches' familiars. The killings began when the Pope declared cats sinners. Nonetheless, superstitions continue to exist today. 4. July 4th isn't the actual American Independence Day. Though technically the colonies did not vote to create a new nation on July 4th, Americans have always observed Independence Day. That distinction belongs to July 2nd, 1776, when the Second Continental Congress approved a resolution formally recognizing American independence from Great Britain. At the time, future President John Adams predicted that the day would be celebrated by succeeding generations as the Great Anniversary Festival, with pomp and parade, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent. What happened then? Paperwork. The Continental Congress spent 2 days approving the final draft of a news release outlining why the delegates had cast their votes the way they had, according to Philip Meade, chief historian at the Museum of the American Revolution. As it is more often known, the Declaration of Independence was printed on July 4th, 1776, which is why that date is at the top. However, most delegates signed it on August 2nd rather than July 4th, as depicted in the John Trumbull picture, Congress in the Independence Hall, Philadelphia, July 4th, 1776, displayed in the rotunda of the Capitol. Although Adams might have been shocked to see Americans celebrate the 4th of July, he contributed to the change because when he and Thomas Jefferson passed away on July 4th, 1826, that date was further cemented in the collective memory of the people of the United States. 5. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb. You might have believed that Thomas Alva Edison invented the light bulb in 1879. All you now know about Edison's notable achievement must be more accurate. The development of the light bulb was a lengthy process that started with something other than Edison and lasted for almost a century. Electric light was being worked on long before Thomas Edison was even born. In 1807, British chemist Humphrey Davy made the first somewhat successful attempt by using a crude battery to create an arc of light between two charcoal sticks. Although Davy's light was too bright to be utilized in the home, it was the first electric streetlight alternative. Inventors like Warren de la Rue, whose platinum filament was too expensive, William State, whose batteries were too expensive, and Joseph Swan developed dozens of light bulb prototypes. His light was too inefficient. Next up was Edison. The bulb he created in 1879 still only worked for brief periods, although he bought some of the patents of his forerunners and learned from their failures. Why then does Edison receive all the praise? Bamboo fiber that Edison had carbonized was the ideal material for his light bulb's filament, because it burned longer than any other material that had been tried before. These were the fascinating history stories that we came across and wanted you guys to know too, and we're optimistic that they've completely blown your mind. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to our channel, Discovery Unraveled, and tell us what you expect from our upcoming videos.